Okay, I think we are live. Let me put this up. Whoops. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I think we're live now. Um, Let me just confirm it. Yes. Yes, we are. So let me get everything situated. I got a few talking points here. I just wanted to talk about the NBA. I know this is a um mostly just a NFL college football channel, but I just said, might as well. NBA playoffs are going on right now. It's kind of off season for football. So yeah, if you guys want to see like if you're watching this on the VOD and you guys want to see like more NBA content, I can definitely do that. Might do it on this channel. Might even make a new one. I don't know if I want to make a whole new channel though. But yeah, so it's a really exciting NBA playoffs. So I just want to talk about all the stuff going down. There's so much, but I guess like first, what we could get into was kind of this series coming up, right? It says six. So yeah, we got a little bit till the game starts. But yeah, Warriors versus Mavericks. First, let's talk about how these two teams got here. Warriors take out my Memphis Grizzlies, and then Mavericks take out the Phoenix Suns. Everyone's talked about um, just the shock that was the Mavericks versus the Suns. Um, I think the Suns, yeah, I think they kind of did run out of gas. Because they were playing so like so many times. Playing their starters a lot. Um, but yeah, let me try to figure out here. I'm gonna put this there. Try to figure out um what's going on here. Let me lock this for a second. Okay, whatever. We'll work with it. I don't know. This is actually my first time using OBS, so bear with me here. Um, yeah. So if I'm doing something wrong, just bear with me. Maybe you can comment it in the comments below. But yeah. Let me go to this. Go to this. Okay, now I can have it up. Okay, all right. So, getting back into it. Yeah. Mavericks take out the Suns. Something about Chris Paul in Game Sevens, man. He's had the worst luck, and this one, yeah, it was part his fault, but it was the entire team's fault too. Like everyone on the Suns, the big three, all of them, all three of them were doing just terrible. And this game's pretty much been analyzed to death at this point. But I mean, this was Chris Paul, and this was Chris Paul's best chance at a championship, unless he joins like, like if he wants to be a backup on the Warriors or joins the Bucks or something. I don't know. this is probably his best chance, at least with the Suns. Um, yeah. Let me maybe try to put this down a little bit. Maybe that will help. Um, but that just kind of okay, whatever. That doesn't really do much, honestly. Put that there. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. All right. All right. All right. All right. So, yeah. Talked about the Mavericks and Luka Doncic, man. Like he has been so good. He literally, a lot of people comparing him to like LeBron. Yeah, this is like him. This is like LeBron carrying that like 2017 team all the way. And if he can beat the Warriors, that would be like the equivalent to beating those mighty Pistons. So, I mean, Luka Doncic, I think he's got a little bit of a better supporting cast. I mean, that supporting cast on Cleveland 2007 was like bad. But yeah, going into for the Warriors, they move on. I was cheering for the Grizzlies. Just tough break for the Grizzlies that John Moran got injured, but definitely they'll be back next year, and I think that could turn into a big rivalry with the Grizzlies and the Warriors because the scary thing about the Warriors is they could win it this year. Like this is a total possibility they could win it this year. I don't think they're gonna win. They're probably gonna get. I think they'll move on, but they'll get knocked out by whoever comes out of the East. But even if there's a big possibility that they win it, and even if they win it, they're still having all these young guys and all these developing guys develop and become better and better. You saw no Jordan Poole. Kuminga's only going to get better. James Wiseman. Um, Gary Payton the second. So it's not like um, as Curry, Thompson, and Green all get older that they're gonna fall off or anything like that. Um, yeah. So I'm just trying to like collect my thoughts here, deal with this OBS thing. But yeah, here let's go with this. Put that there. See if that works. But anyway, so Warriors move on in 6 games. Game 6, Clay. I forgot about how good Clay Thompson is in Game 6. I mean, it's been a while. He had been out since 2019. So yeah, Game 6, Clay Thompson. The Mavericks better watch out when this series inevitably goes to 6 games. I think with this series, it's either going to be like a really close series and either go to Game 7, Game 6, or the Warriors are just going to blow out the Mavericks in 4 games. Honestly, I think the Warriors have this is total possibility of the Warriors just wiping the floor the Mavericks. I mean, they have faced. I think it was watching a video. Pat Beverly. He's been on ESPN. He's actually been pretty interesting. First time I've been kind of watching ESPN and First Take in a while, but um, he made an interesting point that the Warriors, this is not their first rodeo with a team like the Mavericks where it's one superstar. The Warriors have dealt with this before. They've dealt with James Harden, like a ball dominant superstar. They've dealt with James Harden. They've dealt with LeBron James. multiple times. Even when it was with Kyrie Irving, they had dealt with it. So I think definitely the Warriors are definitely. I think they're definitely going to be prepared for Luka, and they got a lot of bodies to throw at him. The thing is, Luka Doncic is like really special, and yeah, it'll be interesting. I think for the Warriors, this might. I mean, you got Doncic, yes, and this Mavericks team is very well coached, but you look at the other series against the Grizzlies. If John Morant had not gotten hurt, I think we would have seen a different series. John Morant doesn't get hurt, then what was it? Game four. I believe Game 4 was the game that was down to the wire. Grizzlies did not have John Morant, and they didn't really have a closer. I think if Grizzlies had John Morant, they would have won that game. They definitely would have won Game 5. They won it without him, which you can make an argument that they can do better without John Morant. But then you look at, well, without John Morant, they weren't able to get that Game 4 win. And then also in Game 6, they were definitely missing John Morant in that closing fourth quarter. I remember watching it and just thinking, oh, they need John Morant to give them a big bucket, a crowd silence or something like that. So they definitely missed John Morant for sure. And yeah. But for the Grizzlies, I don't think it's too big of a deal for them because they'll definitely be back next year. John Morant hasn't even, he's still on his rookie contract. There's still a lot of time for these Grizzlies to grow. And look, just staying on the Grizzlies, let me make this point here that I've seen that there's been suggestions that the Grizzlies trade for another superstar or something, or another star like Gordon Hayward, or maybe even like Donovan Mitchell or something like that. But I think they should keep with this core. I think this core is very good, and I think they can keep growing. Desmond Bane's only gonna get better. Obviously, John Morant's gonna get better. I think Jaren Jackson is only gonna get better. They got Dylan Brooks, defensive stopper on the wing. Like I think this team is perfectly built to be a championship team. I think they just need to develop a little more. Um, like for sure. And if you make the argument like, oh, only these modern championship teams, they need like a big wing. Well, look at the Warriors. The Warriors had, you got Durant, yeah, but 2015 they won a championship and they didn't have like a dominant wing. And then also 2016 when they went 73-9, and people always bring up 3-1 to Cleveland, which is fair, but also they came back 3-1 on the Thunder against a team with a dominant wing, obviously Kevin Durant. So I don't think it's super necessary to have like a big scoring wing. If you have like a good team, competent, very star uh, point guard, and some shooting around him, everything, I think the Grizzlies definitely in good hands. Um, and I don't think they should try to trade away some of their younger assets because like they're very deep too. So yeah. Um, let's see. Maybe if I go to this one, it will be overloaded. Yeah, with a smaller video, I don't think it is as overloaded. So let's just go here. Anyway, okay. So yeah, that's just my point on the Grizzlies. I think they had a great season. Definitely another learning playoffs. Obviously the first one against like the Jazz. Uh, that's definitely like a learning one. They're just the eighth seed. Um, but yeah, I definitely think the Grizzlies have a bright future, and so do the Warriors. I feel like this could be like a true rivalry. Um, so yeah. So as for game one here, I like the Warriors. For one, they have more rest. They've been waiting on the Mavericks from game seven. They're at home. I guess it's not Oracle Arena, Chase Center or something like that. San Francisco. It doesn't matter. Their fans get loud. It gets loud. So I definitely do think that the Warriors are gonna win this game one. Mavericks are rolling though. So and Jason Kidd has proven to be a very good coach. I remember him on Milwaukee and they were not very good. And he was criticized a lot for when he was on Milwaukee, coaching for Milwaukee. But he's really turned it around with the Dallas Mavericks. So I do think it could definitely be a very good series. This game one's going to be very telling. Let's go to the other game, Celtics Heat right here. Um, let me check in on this. Yeah, it's better if I don't have as big as a video. I don't think. Yeah. Anyway, okay. So Celtics Heat come out huge third quarter. I wasn't watching a lot of this game. I was out, but I remember, at halftime, it's a close game, right? I remember checking into third quarter. I'm like, what happened? Celtics only scored 14 points in the third quarter. Just a complete collapse from the Celtics. They made it a little kind of close, but in the end, the Heat had this. And I I thought the Celtics might win this, but then I learned, oh, they don't have Horford, they don't have Smart. Those two guys are their like defensive anchors. Horford played, I mean, there's no stopping Giannis, but I think he played very good defense on Giannis in that other series. And then obviously Marcus Smart, he's defensive player of the year. So they're two big anchors in their team. And look at the Celtics. They only play like they played a very short rotation. What is this, like 8 man, I believe. And you look at the Heat. It's shorter too, but it's a 9 man and just some better depth for the Celtics. I feel like they're definitely missing those guys. And you have like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum playing heavy minutes. By that second half, kind of fell apart. But I think the Celtics can bounce back. This isn't gonna be like, I think people are overreacting too much. That, oh man, Miami Heat, they're gonna win so much better, tougher. No, Celtics are definitely gonna bounce back. Um, their coach, I forget his name. Um, Also, I might pronounce it wrong or something, but yeah. Yeah, looking at the box, Jimmy Butler carried with 41 points, and Tyler Hero, he's had quite the bounce back season. I mean, bubble, he comes onto the scene in the bubble, and then last season, he kind of fell apart, fell back down, wasn't doing as good, and then this season turned around, sixth man of the year. Something about playing the Celtics. He really likes playing the Celtics because if you remember in the bubble year, that's when he kind of came on. So, yeah. And geez, you look at Derek White, only 3 points, playing 29 minutes. Yeah, I know he's kind of like a role player, but you play 29 minutes and only get 3 points. bad. That's not a very good showing um, at all. Um, and then yeah, Jimmy Butler with the 41. I think Boston Celtics could definitely bounce back in the next one. I definitely give them a good shot to bounce back in the next one. It really depends though on Marcus Smart and Al Horford. If they aren't there, this series is not looking good for the Celtics. I think they'll be able to win if you're talking about, let's just take for example, Al Horford and Marcus Smart are out for the entire series. I'd give this like 5 games. I'd give Boston one in TD Garden or whatever the new arena is they're calling it nowadays or whatever. But I'd give them one at home and that's it. Like that's how important those two are. They're big time, big time defensive studs. So yeah. Um, Looking at how these two teams got there, Miami Heat, I feel like they've definitely flown under the radar. First round, everyone's talking about what's wrong with uh, Trey Young, and oftentimes I feel like all these analyzers and stuff, they kind of talk about what was wrong with the losing team instead of what the winning team did right. But yeah. Then next series, Heat play 76ers, and then the conversation, what's wrong with James Harden? James Harden's fell off. The Heat's got some good defense, very good defense, and it's right up there with the Celtics. Celtics made the big noise by sweeping the Nets, obviously, and just having great defense on Giannis and Kevin Durant, two of the best players. But the Miami Heat had some bottling defense too in their other series. So yeah, this is just gonna be such an interesting series, and I think definitely if Al Horford and Marcus Smart come back, this is definitely gonna be like a 7 game series. Very up in the air. So I guess you could say my official predictions for each series. Assuming that Marcus Smart and Al Horford come back relatively quickly, meaning next game or the game after. So either like game 2 or game 3. I say Celtics in 7. They're so well coached. They've got great defense. Jason Tatum is a star. I think he'll definitely bounce back. Yeah. And the Celtics have been here before. They want to get their revenge from 2020. This is Tatum's third conference finals in 5 years. So they definitely have the experience, and I think it's definitely time for the Celtics to go to the finals. So yeah. And then for the other series, it's so up in the air, and I really want to see this first game to do a prediction. But if I just had to say right now, I'd probably say Warriors in 6. I'd probably say probably a similar way to how the Warriors Grizzlies one went. But instead I got Warriors probably winning their first 2 games. Mavericks bounce back with 2 games, and the Warriors win the next 2. Warriors are the higher seed, right? Yes, they're the 3 seed, and so yeah, 3. So the top 2 seeds go down. So yeah, that'll be interesting. So yeah, so let's talk about the teams that got knocked out. So I guess you could start with the Suns and that just utter embarrassment to just Luka Doncic and Spencer Dinwiddie. He played good too. Um, for the Suns, it was not a good look for either DeAndre Ayton or for the Suns or for um I forgot their coach. Oh, I'm just blanking on their coach's name. Okay, anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, not a good look for any of them when he benches Ayton and all of that that's been talked about. Suns are gonna have to pay him a max, and I think DeAndre Ayton is worth a max for sure. He's a very good center. Um, but now the problem is for the Suns is Chris Paul is getting way old. Um, you don't really want to waste away Devin Booker's prime here. I thought the Suns for sure were the best team and that they were gonna win like everyone else. They were deep. They had great, obviously like a big three. They had great supporting cast. But they just fell apart. It was a choke, plain and simple. And I don't think you would really expect that from Devin Booker. But Luka Doncic is like a step up, I think, from Devin Booker. He's just that much better. And he really answered the call. And yeah. And I think what this playoffs has told us is that gone are the just like making your super team and then running through everyone. Top heavy with like a big three, big two, whatever. And just kind of like, oh, we'll just fill out the rest of the roster, whatever. Lakers didn't even make the playoffs. Nets get swept. 76ers fall apart. That kind of deal. Bucks last year won all kind of like homegrown talent. This year, I think if they had Chris Middleton, that really would have helped them. And it's actually kind of crazy that it went to 7 games when you think about it, because they didn't even have their like second best player. So it just really shows you how good the Bucks are, and how good Giannis is. Um, but yeah, and then you look at the teams you got right now. Warriors all have been like drafted from the Warriors. Mavericks, same thing too. They kind of built up around Luka Doncic. And then the Heat, they're the Heat. They don't. I mean, they obviously years ago brought in the flashy, big free agent acquisitions, but they've been very smart about how they've gotten Kyle Lowry, PJ Tucker this season. Um, they've built around some good draft picks like Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, who hasn't even played in the playoffs for some reason. I don't know why. I guess he just hasn't been as effective. And then Jimmy Butler kind of holding it all together there. Celtics obviously with their core and I know Al Horford isn't drafted there, but kind of seems like he's part of the Celtics too. And then they got their core of like Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart. So yeah, it's this playoffs has definitely shown kind of new era in the NBA where there's so much talent. There is so much talent to go around that if you play your cards right as like a franchise, you can definitely build a championship contender when you get that one guy. Warriors is Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Mavericks, as you're seeing, it's Luka Doncic. Bucks, as you're seeing, as you saw, Antetokounmpo. Celtics, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Yeah. So for the big story teams, the big market teams, Lakers, Nets, and 76ers, they're all kind of stuck. They can't even really make um, changes. So yeah, um, they can't really make changes. But the Lakers, obviously, you want to trade Russell Westbrook. His value is at all-time low. Everyone's value on that team is at all-time low. For the Nets, you can't really move anyone around. Like, what are you gonna do with Kyrie Irving? Uh, Kevin Durant, like, what is he gonna do? There's lots of stuff up in the air for the Nets. Everyone on that team, besides like Bruce Brown, did not have a very good playoffs this season. And then for the 76ers, they got to deal with paying James Harden. Like, what do you do with James Harden? I think, let's start with the 76ers, what I think they should do. They should do some kind of sign and trade. I think you definitely have something special with Tyrese Maxey. You got to build around him. James Harden's getting too old and he can't perform in the playoffs. That has been proven through just every single playoff series. He cannot. He's just not reliable in the playoffs. He's not shown up. And Joel Embiid, he's trust the process. I think long enough. I think you definitely trade Harden for some good starters. Um, Try to trade him for a team that'll bite. I think possibly what you could do, maybe I'm just thinking off the top of my head right now. I just got this idea right now. But you look at the Jazz, who are in turmoil. Maybe you try to trade Harden for Mitchell and some other pieces too, or something like that. Jazz traded up, or shake it up, and the 76ers shake it up. I haven't really thought about the trade for James Harden, but also another one would be the Raptors. Definitely, you can get some like guys like Anunoby, maybe Gary Trent Jr., kind of guys like that, Precious Achua, guys like that to really fill out the roster with solid starters to put around Tyrese Maxey and uh, Joel Embiid. Because I think Tyrese Maxey's he's got a better upside. Like, you look at his athleticism and he's just playing harder. He's early in his career. Um, just has more drive. And I think he actually could probably work better with Joel Embiid. You put a guy like Anunoby, who's kind of like a better Matisse Thybulle. And then you have Gary Trent Jr., who is a certified bucket, coming off the bench, coming off screens and like that. He'd be scary. So that would be a very cool trade possibility. And then you with the Jazz. I'm not very sure how that would work. You stack up the values between like Mitchell and James Harden, and I don't know about when I more think about that, I think it might just be like a lose-lose trade for that. You're getting Donovan Mitchell, who is undersized shooting guard, and is gonna battle. I think it's gonna kind of battle with Tyrese Maxey, which is something you're trying to avoid by trading Harden. Um, so I don't know, and then for the Jazz, okay, you got Harden. He's gonna take you to the playoffs, but you're just gonna end up losing in the second round because he's proven that he can't show up in the playoffs. So I don't know about that trade, but I think it might be better with the Raptors trade because you look at Harden maybe goes to Canada, gets fixed up in Canada or something, and the Raptors get like a star with James Harden, um, kind of write him out at the end of his deal, and I think this would be assuming he opts in for his player option. Maybe you do like a sign and trade. I'm not exactly sure how the sign and trades work and stuff like that, but um, you get Harden, Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam. That's a dangerous big three, I think. So yeah, um, yeah. And then going with the Nets, I don't even know like what the Nets do. Do you trade Kyrie? Like, um, let me look up. Um, let me look up Kyrie Irving's contract. Um, so he's a free agent. He's a free agent next year. Okay. So they're kind of locked in with with everything there. Okay, I think that's better. Let's go back to this. So yeah, game's almost coming up here, so I might wrap up the stream. Probably do a part two to this because I gotta go. I want to go over the Lakers. I want to go over the Jazz. Some other teams that just had early exits and not even get into the playoffs in terms of the Lakers. Um, for the Jazz, you could do a lot of interesting things. I want to kind of break that down probably in the next stream. But for the Lakers side, I think you just have to trade Russell Westbrook. It just did not work out, and I don't think you can go back. Just trade him for some like decent role players. I don't know. Get some young guys. I mean, please get some young guys. Like the best players, probably the three best players this season for the Lakers were LeBron, Malik Monk, and Stanley Johnson. The latter, two younger players. So, yeah, this has been the best for them. And for the Lakers, whether that's just resting their stars a lot or something, if they keep, I think there's a real possibility that they keep LeBron and Davis. Just make sure they're well rested for spring. And if the Lakers get into the playoffs, whether they even be like a lower seed, watch out because that LeBron and Anthony Davis duo, at its height, we saw won a championship. And they fit so well together. They're very good together, I think. And if you trade that, it's just gonna be like, I don't know if they'll go as like when you think about the height at which they can perform. At LeBron James and Anthony Davis, that duo, their highest, that's like a championship. But when you look at on aging LeBron and borderline all stars, there's a trade put out there like that with the Hawks that Lakers get John Collins and DeAndre Hunter. Yeah, those are some pretty serviceable, like pretty good, kind of virgin on the edge of all star um, starters. But how far is that going to, with an aging LeBron, going to reach for the Lakers? Because I think at this point for the Lakers, I guess I'm just going into it. They have dumped away all their picks, all their young players. At this point, you just got to try to win a championship with LeBron. No more kind of just trying to save it or something and try to like build around Anthony Davis, who is always getting injured. I don't like what like Stephen A. Smith put out there to trade LeBron. Like, I don't think that's gonna do anything because you're just building around Anthony Davis, an injury-prone Anthony Davis. You got LeBron James right now. You got to try to win a championship. Do anything you can to win a championship. Last year, they tried something. They tried just recruiting a bunch of older guys, and Westbrook didn't work out. Move on. Try something. I think they this offseason they just try something different with LeBron and possibly Anthony Davis. Maybe move him because the Lakers, they obviously the Laker Nation won a championship like basically every year. If it's not a championship, then it's a failure. So um yeah, you look at it. Okay, we traded away all our future and everything to get Anthony Davis and to get LeBron and all this and get all this stuff. So we want championships out of it. You get one, you get that one from Anthony Davis, and I think you trade him away. You got your championship out of Anthony Davis. You trade him away and Westbrook, and you bring in some better pieces. Definitely could get you another one. What I'm saying is like the Lakers at this point, they're so far down the road of just not being able to rebuild. That they just got a bunch of old guys. They have no picks. They have no young players. Um, so yeah, what I in the end, what I think the Lakers should do. It's very hard to do. Trade Westbrook. Try to get some young pieces. Um, to build around. And then with Anthony Davis, it's just hard. It's so hard to trade him because you gave away so many pieces. Yeah, and now you're gonna trade him, and his stock is like at an all-time low right now. But that's why you want to trade him. You wouldn't be trading him if he was doing well. Um, I think that's what makes like Sam Presti. I know if it's not worked out for the Thunder, but he drafts incredibly well. And he saw Russell Westbrook and Paul George, who each came off like MVP type seasons. Russell Westbrook an MVP in 2017, and Paul George had an MVP type season in 2018. They lost in the first round of the Jazz. He said, "All right, let's blow it up. Let's get picks. Let's just redo this entire thing." Um, Now I don't know if the Lakers will do that. I don't even know if they can stand another one of those big rebuilds, but it's something that they could do. And I think the Thunder are a well-run organization. Obviously, Sam Presti loves his draft picks. Thunder got the number 2 pick and the number 12 pick last night in the draft lottery. Um, Draft lottery. But yeah, I think we're about to end this stream. Um, yeah, let me know if you want to see more NBA content. I might be doing more streams. Definitely might want to do part 2. Break down Jazz, break down more of the Lakers, and break down these playoffs games. So yeah, I'm gonna go watch. I'm gonna go watch the Warriors and the Mavericks play. We'll see what we have to say. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know if I'll be on tomorrow. We'll see. I got finals and all this stuff coming up, so that's why I haven't been able to do as many uploads. So yeah. Yeah. All right. That's going to be it. Thanks for watching.